Can we have the slides? Hello, everyone, and welcome back. So I'm here to give you a research blast on the love of luxury and how brands can win the next generation of luxury consumers. If you remember before the break, Thomas mentioned that luxury and social media don't seem to go hand in hand, almost. So it took a fair bit of work to convince him to give us this slot. So I'm going to take full advantage of this 6 minutes and take you through some of the recent findings from a study which was done literally a few weeks back. Yeah? So it's pretty hot off the press. So what we did was we spoke to a group of consumers, young luxury consumers, who are essentially the next generation of luxury consumers. And we use a Millward framework called Idea Blog, which is essentially a proprietary blogging platform where consumers come and share their opinions and ideas on various topics. Yeah? They can share videos, they can share images, and it creates a rich level of discussion and interaction. So I'm not going to present a lot of data today. What I'm going to share is a few key insights in the next, 5 minutes, 20 seconds. Well, first is, luxury is highly social. This is not why Thomas gave us this slot, but it's one of the key findings that we have discovered in this journey. We all think luxury is highly exclusive. Yes, it is. But within that band of exclusivity, there is a high degree of inclusiveness in terms of luxury purchase behavior. And we are saying it's social because if you look at the motivations, it's very socially driven. If you look at the purchase journey, there's a very strong degree of social influence. Consumers seek reassurance from people that matter when it comes to luxury purchase. And we realize social media has a key influence on luxury purchase. Now, having said this, we do realize that men and women have very different behavior. For men, there is an element of masculinity to luxury purchase. For women, it's a lot about aesthetics, it's about design, it's about creating that emotional desire. I call this the Rolex man. Yeah? For him, Rolex is a symbol of manhood. For the lady, she bought this Chanel purse simply because it was pink in color. But more importantly, with no malice to anyone, women have a very strong influence from friends and peers. We almost come up with this term called shopping devil group. Again, no malice, no negative connotations. But women tempt, coax, and actually persuade their friends and colleagues to go on this luxury shopping journey. Yeah? They share stuff, they tempt, and they have a lot of discussions and interactions among themselves to get each other to go on this luxury journey. And they like to do it together. And this peer influence is magnified enormously by the influence of social media. So you see this WhatsApp group. These are real examples. You see this WhatsApp group where they share a lot of information. You see Facebook and Instagram. These are just examples I'm quoting, but different platforms which people have used to create desire. Yeah? So here's a lady who ended up purchasing a Cartier piece of jewelry who was highly influenced by what she saw on Facebook. Well, for men, they seem to be more of the lone wolf, aren't we all? Yeah? They actually act on their own impulses, and friends' advice, preferences play a less important role. I really like this example of the Rimowa man. So here's a friend who actually went in, who was clearly attracted by a colleague who was carrying a sleek silver Rimowa. Yeah? And he felt it made his colleague look cool and stylish. But he did not go to this person to ask about the brand or the product. He went on his own to do his search. Yeah? It was completely individual-led behavior. So he went to the Rimowa website, he looked up the product, he went on YouTube to look at Rimowa ads and was impressed by the product and ended up purchasing the brand. Yeah? But in spite of this differences in behavior, when we look at the purchase journey, we do see essentially 5 key steps in the process. I think desire, we all know, it's the first critical step in the journey. Once you have created a bit of desire, then it's about creating that search and evaluation stage. And then you get into buy. I think the first 4 steps we have all seen and heard at some stage. But what was unique to luxury is the post-buy phase. The end of the purchase is not the end of the interaction or the journey. Merely, it's the start of a fresh new journey. Because once you have made the purchase, you're looking for reassurances, you have a lot of interest in the brand, and you need information and support to help satiate that. So I have about 2 minutes left. I'm going to focus on first part, which is desire, and the last part, which is post-buy. In the desire stage, what we realize is love at first sight is really critical with luxury. When we look at the various purchase journey, what we realized was the original item that triggered consumers' wants and impulses at the desire stage really had a first mover advantage. Yeah? So it is absolutely critical for brands to create that interest, to grab attention, and to create that feeling that, okay, this is what I want and nothing else matters. And what really happens is when you go through the evaluation and the search stage, it is merely the validation of that initial product which created desire. Yeah? And this, sorry, I went back one slide. And this desire is highly influenced by social media. When we looked at the purchase journey, we realized there are 3 levels in terms of how consumers access and absorb information. You have the public platform, where you have access to all sorts of stimuli, and it could be online, it could be offline as well. But what then happens is, what we call the content curation, is consumers select certain stimuli, certain pictures, links, which they want to share with their friends and colleagues. And that's where a role of a platform like WhatsApp comes in. And finally, and that's where the source of influence and preferences happen, is what we call the private group. It's almost like a social tribe where you share common values and attitudes towards luxury. And that's where the influence on brands and choices happen. So it is absolutely critical, sorry, I keep on pressing the wrong button, that brands facilitate sharing of contents. I think we have heard this previously as well. I think Mr. Hong mentioned about the user's social role for brands. Brands got to make it easy to share the social elements. And they got to make the content interesting and meaningful. So the sharing experiences becomes worthwhile. 2 great examples that we had seen. I think some of you might have seen this Frank Muller crazy hour thing. So this was quoted by quite a few of our respondents when we asked them about examples of this. You have Audi through a Facebook program. So great examples of how consumers have curated contents and shared with friends and colleagues. Finally, I want to leave you with the last observation. It's never too early to start re-engaging consumers. The purchase is not really the end of the journey. It's merely the start of a fruitful relationship. Consumers actually become more engaged with the brand and start to think what next. And I think this is a phase where brands probably haven't utilized or played as much of a role as they could have. Yeah? I think this Rolex example is a great one, yeah? Where this consumer bought a piece of Rolex and started getting engaged for the next piece. Yeah? So with my last thought, my last thought is never stop falling in love. Your last customer is actually your new potential. Once you have had a purchase at the shop, it's actually the start of a strong relationship. And you establish a cord, so as the consumer walks out of your store, you got to pull them back in. I leave you with a Rupam man who not only bought a piece of luggage for himself, but ended up buying something for his wife as well. So the post-buy actually created a new desire and a new purchase cycle. So keep loving and build desire. Thank you.